Hi, my name is Ashley Bailey, and I became frustrated with how to manage online galleries for people that I took photos of that ultimately wanted to have some of the pictures. And of course, I've seen some of my friends as well who are photographers who have online galleries and how they manage their deliveries. I used to work for a commercial contractor who we had our photos sent to us from an outside photographer, and just the method, I felt like can be improved. So, anyways, I created this plugin, and it's basically called GalleryShop. You'll come in here, you'll see automatically, like after it's installed, that what the revenue for the different galleries are and where that money comes from. You'll see your average order value. You'll see how many people have actually added products to the cart. I just added one to the cart just a few minutes ago to test it, and so that is working. And then you'll also see your orders in progress. What might be in the queue as far as people having stuff in their carts. And then you'll see your revenue across the last 30 days, and you can view that at any time. You just come here to the dashboard and you'll see that. And then you'll see your top performers, both your top selling images, so that's the test order that I placed, and then you'll see your top galleries and your product performance, whether that's printed product or whether or not it's digital downloads. So for the purposes of this plugin, I'm just doing digital downloads right now, but we are adding on printing capabilities, and so that will be coming soon. But the functionality is there to handle printed products or like printed pictures. If you wanted to have those with your clients and have them order those, that would be built into the plugin already. So anyways, and then you're going to see like your category performance. I also set up user groups so that, like, let's say I'm the main photographer, but I have associate people that work with me that may be taking photos too. So there's user groups involved, and I can control those user groups from the admin area, and ultimately see their performance as well. So anyways, you're going to see your order tracking right here as far as fulfillment goes, and then you're going to see your print fulfillment there, which is really great. And then you can come up here and you can actually export CSVs that show your revenue by day, your products, your categories, which images have performed the best, galleries, and which photographers, if you have people working under you, are performing the best. So that's a really important feature. Now, to add a gallery, I just come in here and I click add new gallery. So I put this one already in here, so I'll just click that to kind of show you how it looks. But I click it and I come here and I can just add media from my gallery as needed. It works just like WordPress does, so there's really nothing different there. I can browse my computer and add pictures to it, or I can just select those from here, and those will appear in the gallery. Now, you set in the settings, which I'll show you in just a minute, the price per image. So that's going to default to this dollar amount right here. If you want to override that for any reason, you can actually change that here, and you can say, okay, well, this is now worth $25 if I wanted to do it that way. So now I'm going to hit update just so I can show you. And then, of course, you always have your gallery descriptions, different settings like that for WordPress that really help you. But to embed this gallery now in a post or a page on WordPress, you're just going to copy this short code, and then you're going to come over here to your post section. And you're going to see I already created this one right here, but I'm going to come in here and just edit it so you can see what I did. And I just copied and pasted that gallery shortcode right there. And so when a user sees that, they're going to see that on the front end. So I'm going to go to the website and go here. So I've already put in the code for it, but you would actually be prompted to enter the password for this particular gallery, and then you could start to see, what this looks like. But anyways, if I add these things to my cart, you'll see that now I have 2 images in my cart. I can view the cart or I can check out, so whatever I want to do. And then I also have it set to where you can either name for the client's view, you can either name it exactly the file name of the image, but I felt like from a protection standpoint, you might not want that, because then they could go potentially in your back end somehow and maybe try to retrieve that picture from the back end. So what I feel like is better is just to do it like that, and it's masked. So anyways, I'll show you how that looks. We'll come back out of here and we will come to GalleryShop again. I will show you how you set up a package. So like here, if I wanted to add a new package, I'm just going to come in here, give it a title, and I'm going to give it a redemption code to give to the client, and then I can tell them how many picture credits they get for their particular order. And so you can say, you know, hey, I just want you to have, you know, 10 pictures for the price that you gave me or whatever, and then you can set the price right here. So it tells you exactly how that all is broken down, but it says the client's images are priced at a total divided by the number of credits. So if I give them, you know, 20 credits and I say it's worth $200, you know, that's going to be $10 a credit. And so, or $10 a picture, so that's how that works. And then you can say it's valid for any gallery or just a specific gallery if you want to. And then you can say that it expires, you know, or their package expires on a specific date, which is good for like if you're doing, you know, school photos. Like let's say you're doing school deliveries. That actually would be good, because then you could, you know, expire like an introductory package rate at a specific time. So that would be good. And then afterwards it would go up to a different price. Here's where you're going to set your different price levels. So I can say if you're buying at least, you know, 20 images, this is the price that you're going to pay for that. And then you can always delete your tiers as well. So if I want to say, if I'm buying 100 pictures, price those at least at $5 each and add that. And so now that's in here. And then you can say that, you know, the price would be $20 per image. And then you can override it here, so for digitals. But anyways, that's how that works. And then you can always see your galleries too right here. And of course you can copy the shortcode here without having to go into it. And then you can come over here to, I already showed you the price levels. Yes, I did. And then you can come over here to the settings. And here's where you set global settings for all of your pictures and your orders. So right now I have this set to be $35 per image. It was just, you know, an example that I wanted to put in there. And I can say, do I want the images to be delivered in, you know, the large, like default WordPress size, or do I want them to be delivered in full resolution? And then I can say, you know, that the download link expires after a certain number of days, which is good because people will either need to check it, you know, I mean, you kind of want them to check it like right after they order it, so then that way they're not trying to dig for emails and all of that. So it's just good to kind of keep that window short, in my opinion, but you can set it to never expire if you'd like to. And then, you know, this is where I was saying you can actually have the image be named the title of the file name, or you can have it be numbered, which I felt like was better for safety reasons. And then I have 3 different skins for the different galleries in here that I've built in. I like this editorial default one myself, but I do have 2 others, so you can kind of see those if you'd like. And then you can say I want to keep the original dimensions, which would in essence make WordPress not compress your images. So it says here, WordPress silently scales large uploads to 2560 pixels. For print sales, you want true originals. Note, image optimizer plugins and some web hosts also compress originals. Turn off any compress originals option there, or keep masters in the offsite vault, a storage tab. Deliveries and lab orders will always use the true original when it exists. And so here's where you're going to set those different settings. So you can say, I want to keep the original image sizes if you'd like to. And then you're going to come down here to sales tax classes. And of course I have where you're going to do like, you know, for digital delivery, you definitely, you know, most people I think don't do taxes for that, but you can come down here and set a an actual, you know, tax rate if you'd like. What it's going to pull from is it's going to pull from whatever your tax rate is in WooCommerce. So if you have that set up, it's going to pull from that, and if you don't have that set up, it's going to flag it, so it'll tell you. And then you can say, you know, like if you are running associate photographers that work up underneath you, if you want to set, you know, a rate where you basically skim off the top of their sales, you can set that rate here. So whatever you would want that to be. And then of course I have just, you know, an admin screen for me where I just make sure that I'm seeing who all has installed this plugin, and I'm going to keep that to myself. But anyway, and then of course the biggest selling feature for this plugin is that you cannot right click or drag any of the gallery images, so you really have no way of saving those. Like once they're watermarked, and they are forever watermarked until the person has actually bought them. So anyways, this is where that goes. Now here's where you're going to set your tax rates for your store. And here's where you're going to set your payment gateways. Now, one note about this, I have it set so that if you are on the free tier, you are being charged a 10% skim off the top. And that goes back to basically fund the plugin and the plugin development. If you pay for the plugin, that goes away, the 10% fee goes away, and you also have access to add Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal as your payment methods. So if you pay for the plugin, you get the pro version. That's what unlocks for you. So anyways, those are right there. I also have marketing features baked in. So like when someone is checking out, they're going to have a consent box that says, hey, you know, I'm okay with getting emails and things like that. And so here you're going to see automated follow-ups to them, you know, where you can send them messages about their different galleries. So all of those things can be set here. And then of course you can export the customers at any time and put them into like MailChimp, or like I use HubSpot. That's a big one for me. But anyways, you can basically use it for what you feel like would work for you. So hopefully this helps you as much as it's going to help me. I was just thinking to myself, like, how am I supposed to deliver these pictures? So this solved my problem. I hope it helps you. Have a blessed day.